Welcome back to Life Happens with Bahati Joyce, where we take life head on and make it happen. We were just discussing about the storyline of the movie.
It was really funny that this movie, honestly, it blurred the line between reality and fiction.
Really?
I feel like it blurred the line because I recently seen a video of ABC, they were the news channel, they were interviewing people on the road, on the side in the States, and some people actually believe that Wakanda is a real country in Africa.
Yeah.
They would be like, an interviewer would be like, so what do you think that the UN should interfere with Wakanda's vibranium? And people would seriously comment that they should just let them do what they want with it. They should just
that is interesting.
They were like, they should just let them do what they want with it. If they want to share it, let them share it. If not, let them be. Somebody was asked. Somebody was asked, do you think like vibranium could be a threat to the world? And he was like, no. Like, I mean, if the Wakanda people have been using it for all these years, it is not a threat. And I was like, wow, it has really blurred the line between reality and fiction. And for me, that is a good thing.
What Marvel did, Marvel Studios, is create a fantasy world for a certain group of people. And for me personally, I feel like this movie maybe was not so much for Africans, but for African Americans.
I don't know if I agree with you. If you and this is by my own observation.
Yeah.
If you take African American 10 and Africans 10, put them together, and then measure the level of their confidence and self-awareness.
Yes.
You will find that Africans' level of self-esteem is low, and confidence is low compared to the African Americans.
Right.
Okay, that's number one. So the movie was not necessarily made for African Americans. You see, the African continent, the people, for years, even after colonialism, we continued under being colonized mentally. We've been slaves in our mind. We've been ruled. Our people needed somebody to tell them, hey, look here. They needed liberation, somebody to tell them, you are this kind of people.
Right.
African Americans, they have an issue in America. They want to feel they belong. They want to be loved. So this move play both parts for Africans and for African Americans. The story is how people used what nature gave them and innovated and multiplied on top of that. Because the story is how can you multiply on what you are given?
Yes.
It's a seed.
Yeah.
It's a mindset issue.
So
that's what is breaking that.
Yeah, so just to add to where I agree 100%.
Okay.
And to top it up, he's mentioned about this movie being a reminder, of course, to Africans and African Americans.
So you think it's both for Africans and African Americans?
Even beyond.
Wow, okay.
I would say basically every black people who feels marginalized in the world. So this is an empowerment.
Right.
I've watched reviews from Jamaicans. I've watched reviews. Letitia is from Guyana. And so many other countries in the world. Everybody with a black skin color felt empowered in one way or the other. So I agree with him. This is a stepping stone, to where we are going.
Yeah.
So the African culture was somewhat portrayed. Of course, not everything was portrayed.
Yeah.
But as we know, the basic definition of culture, what a culture is, it's the total way of life of a particular group living in a particular area. So and in this context, the African culture, you had so many tribes living in this, Wakanda.
Yeah.
Fictionary. This is located in East Africa. So for a start.
Yeah, I had a bit of a problem with that. I had a bit of a problem.
I was trying to find out where in East Africa was this located.
I found out it's supposed to be east of Turkana. Well, there are different comics that draw it differently, but it's either north of Tanzania or a bit east-north of Turkana. But see, here's my problem with that, and maybe you can add on your thoughts on this. Wakanda is supposed to be an Eastern African country. Now, you guys are East Africans, you're Tanzanian.
Yeah.
Why were they speaking Xhosa?
Okay.
In the movie.
Before you go on.
Because we need to talk about that. Based on what you're saying, of course, when you're working with a continent as large and as vast as Africa, you have a lot to deal with. And so this is part of what I want to bring to the table for you guys. We had the Southern Africans represented, right? Like we said, we had the Lesotho, we had Xhosa being spoken, we had the Nigerians, Tumbako, which I think, by the way, he did an amazing job. He's from Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, I have to give it up to him. So we have Nigeria represented. And so you have this really strong voice coming from the South and from the West, but Wakanda is in East Africa. And so I think I would have loved to see more of the Eastern African culture represented, especially because we had one of our own, Lupita Nyong'o, again, fabulous, fabulous African queen, and we're very proud to have her represent us. So what do you guys think? I felt like East Africa was a little underrepresented.
I think I'm sorry if I'm allowed. The point was, I mean, and we have to be honest.
Yes.
At the same time, okay? Now, as a culture, as a society, East Africa have been more receptive of the Western culture.
Of the Western culture.
Compared
okay.
to Nigerians
and
South Africans.
Okay.
Most of the tribes, they've left their tribe, their culture, they've forgotten who they are, because that's why this movie is so important.
Yeah.
It comes to remind us.
To remind us who we are.
Who we are.
And I think as East Africans,
and be proud of who we are.
As East Africans, that's an important point, because what you're saying is Nigerians have this powerful, powerful cultural identity. South Africans have this powerful cultural identity. And then you find East Africa, it's there maybe through the Maasai, but it's been diluted.
Again, statistically,
yes.
Swahili is the most widely spoken, African language, in Africa, second to, Arabic.
Yes.
So I would have preferred to see Swahili in there for the two main reasons. Number one, Wakanda is located in East Africa, where it's predominantly a Swahili speaker region. And the second one, Swahili is the second widely spoken language.
True.
So I think that was
okay.
misrepresentation.
Shut up before I feed you to my children.
Welcome back to Life Happens with Bahati Joyce, bringing you the best in Africa. I'm going to hear from my panel about their favorite, absolute favorite character. So I'll share first. I think my favorite character it has to be Okoye. As Africans, we don't really have African women warriors per se, but Denai, like, you look at her and you have visions of your mother, like, that general African mother, like hardcore. So she reminds me of that, and I loved it. I loved her character. I believed her. I believed and I loved what she stood for. She was loyal. She was for her country, and I love that. So yeah, that's my favorite character. And then when we're done, we're gonna do our favorite impressions, or you guys are gonna wow me with your Wakanda impressions. So for me, the challenge. I'm like, where did they get that from? The Maasai? I think so.
Gotta watch that again.
I found it hilarious.
Well, for me, my favorite character would be King Chala, and I love him. Naturally. I love him because he demonstrated some great leadership skills, and one of the best leadership, the kind of leadership he demonstrated was diplomatic leadership. He was very diplomatic in how he handled, different situations within Wakanda and even outside. So that was very good for me. I learned quite a lot.
You could identify with that.
Yeah, I could actually identify with that.
That's
so
good.
I like him.
Nice. King T'Challa. You gotta love him.
Well, for me, I'm having a hard time picking my favorites.
Yeah, you watched it 3 times.
3 times.
I don't know how Isaiah was like. You. Then again, he studied them.
But I would say all of them are my favorite characters for different reasons. But wow, I am having a hard time choosing this. But I would say M'Baku was one of my favorites as well. One of my favorite characters.
I found that just so.
He was, he didn't have much. He wasn't centered. The movie wasn't set around him.
Yes.
But when he was there, you would recognize him. And I think he embodies how our cultures are. sometimes we tend to be competitive with each other.
Yeah.
We tend to be jealous of each other.
Yes.
And I think I love how in the end even when he didn't want to come help King T'Challa, overthrow Killmonger, at the end of the day he still came. And aided.
Which is the African spirit. You guys have to impress me now.
Wow.
Okay.
Wakandans.
Okay.
What? Give me something. Wakanda impression.
Well. I'll go with this one. Of course, this is very, it's very common. I won't do this. Of course, I've done it, but I won't do it for now. Maybe this is out of the ordinary. Ask me. Who are you?
Who are you?
Good one.
Good.
I wish it was reasoning, but it's
Good
nothing reason. But this is how you identify yourself.
Right.
Who are you? I wish if everybody asked you, where are you from or who are you?
Yes.
They'll know you're an African.
Yeah, but that's a good point. I love that because a lot of people will ask you, where are you from? But this was more of, who are you?
Yeah.
And they had.
Exactly.
That's powerful.
When you show that everybody knows you
Wakanda,
are Wakanda,
like you are. That's
Yeah.
identity. I love it. Good one.
Interesting.
Guess what I call them? Sneakers.
Shuri, you're an innovator.
Shuri's
You were like, mind blown. Like,
I laughed at that statement because it was so obvious.
Yeah.
And I think
But
it was very
hilarious.
sarcastic. It's like, I call them sneakers.
I'm pretty sure you were impressed with the nanotechnology.
Wow.
Mine would be, speak to me. Speak to me.
What do I say?
Shut up before I feed you to my children.
Oh my God. That's
Just
hilarious.
kidding, we're vegetarians.
Oh, that was funny.
That's so hilarious.
That was
He
funny.
was hilarious. There's something he brought to the table that was just very African.
And the
very
accent,
African.
it's
Yeah.
so thick.
He got it spot on. He must
This
have had
is
a lot of
the-
Nigerian friends.
You might have
This is
seen
the
why
Black
he think him
Panther.
Nigerian.
Right, and he embodied that Nigerian spirit, very aggressive and
aggressive.
I'm bored, get it over and done with,
Oh, I forgot something. You remember when they went to Busan, South Korea? She was like, I feel like taking this off. And then she took the weave off
the
and
wig.
smashed up with it.
And you're
love
like,
that
That was
part.
typical
Black girls just
Blackish,
did that,
That
yeah.
was typical black.
Oh, one part I also like when she was in the car and she was like, guns. So primitive.
I love that. It reminded me of Shaka Zulu.
Yes.
It reminded me, it brought the whole Shaka Zulu
The whole
feel.
fighting spear.
When she said guns so primitive?
Yeah.
Actually, I remembered the Maji Maji War. When they were told, hey, you just have to, whenever you get wet, the bullets will not come any near you.
Yeah.
And when she said, guns, so primitive, I was like,
Yeah.
Maji Maji War.
So much history in the movie.
Right.
So much history.
We've actually focused a lot more of the positive side of Wakanda and the potential it has for the human race, of course. But also, there's also a very big detrimental effect that this movie could bring.
No offense to the fans.
No offense to the fans.
we
no
love
offense
Wakanda.
to Agape 3 times, Isaya 6 times and counting. But at least when you go and watch it with a certain perspective, you are learning something out of intentionally.
Yes.
That's good. But not everybody is the same. Someone might just go to watch it and grab everything that they get from the movie.
Yeah.
Some of the things are very
Take
harmful,
it at face value.
Exactly.
And run with it.
To
sum it up, for me, I enjoyed the movie. I loved it. I think parts of it for me were more for, I felt, diaspora, African Americans, the Africans who are out there to connect. But then again, it did bring a sense of this African identity. And finally, Africa is in Hollywood. So with that, we do celebrate it. Thank you so much, guys. I don't even want to leave. It's been amazing. We've had such a great time here on Life Happens with Bahati Joyce, bringing you the best of Africa.